Hey, you do have some new lights, don't you?
Look. I've got some professional lights. So
Awesome.
I just need to set that up. What are we going to call this one today?
I just said Monday night stuff, and Sue's bringing guests.
Okay.
But, I mean, I don't know if I'm live or not because I tried.
I haven't been live yet.
Yeah.
Live?
It's hard to say sometimes.
Right, need to go on tonight. Let's just check it. YouTube.
Channel.
Right, I haven't pressed live yet, so.
Yeah, I do have one, but I'm in the wrong one, so let me switch accounts. I gotta fix a little problem I had, but I think we're gonna be okay here momentarily. It's nice to see you with your blue hair.
Yes, you can actually see me now.
Yes.
So that's really good.
Might be a little extra noise here as I'm getting, Monday night stuff. So videos. Yeah, I think we're going to be good.
You had the light
Special
behind that
guest.
was reflecting.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, it was the light that was on.
Oh, right, okay. So that's probably enough light in here, isn't there?
I think you got lots of light, and we got all kinds of fun things. We've got people logging on to say hello, and I'll be with you guys in just a moment. Just a bit of a technical difficulty with those Yanks over there. We Brits know how to do things here the right way, I say.
Yeah.
We're getting sorted. Definitely sorted. Gotta turn that one off, and then I gotta get rid of this one.
East. Based. I can't spell. Right. Going live. Hopefully that'll be okay. Yes! And we are live too.
Alright. I gotta clear, I just have to clean one thing up here, and then I'll be ready.
Excellent. I'm just going to, where do I go to your page? Right. Okay.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good now.
You are good now. Excellent.
And I think, okay, I have 15, so I got to say hellos. Ann, hello. Kelly, hello. Suzanne Smith, howdy. Who dat? Carol, Bonnie, Madge, Lori, hello. Cor,
hello,
Darla,
I
Robin,
can see you guys
Sal
coming
in
up.
Glasgow, Mary Beth.
Yay,
All right.
hi Sal. Hi Mary Beth. I am just posting the link to my YouTube account for somebody, for Lynn. Hang on a second. Just bear with me.
While she's talking, I hope you guys are fasting today, or you had a good day trying fasting, and you've recovered from the Thanksgiving weekend here in the U.S. of A. And yes, I am fasting today, so we've got a guest of Sue's. Did you say she was Anna?
Anna.
Anna's
Yes.
going to be on here in a moment. She is... Hi, I see you back there, Anna. I see you.
Can you see me? Sure.
I do see you. Anna's been vegan for 4 years, right?
Hello.
And she's got
Yes.
the red face. She's a little bit blushy.
Yes.
But we wanted to talk. She's a raw food vegan, or more of a raw food vegan, right?
Yeah, at the moment I'm 80% raw, because
Yeah?
I'm still, I've been away, and sometimes you can't really be raw when you travel and go places.
Right.
I try to be as raw as possible, yes.
So we wanted to, we generally what we do, what we are is we're kind of a YouTube vegan club. We're a little independent club. We're getting together. We're talking about how to make ourselves healthy, and we're doing a couple of things. Number one is eating whole food, plant-based, and you know how important that is. Or
Yes.
at least trying to be as close to whole food, plant-based as we can. Now, some of us are not quite, made it all the way there. Some of us have, but we're in different places along the way. But we're all sort of on the same path.
Every husband journey, yes.
Yep. And then the second thing is intermittent fasting, and we're trying to do those on Mondays and Thursdays for the most part, and others have different days. But today is my fasting day, so I'll not eat all day today. And just
Okay.
FYI for your information, that means from the time I wake up until the time I go to sleep, I won't eat today. That's a 0-calorie day, so that's how we count it.
Okay.
And so we talk about all kinds of things and the values of doing this, and we're to the point now where we're ready to start talking about recipes, exactly what do we eat, and all those fun things. And so we invite you to jump in and tell your story if you'd like, or Sue can introduce you and you can tell your story. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
Thank you.
Okie dokes. Well, welcome everyone. We have 24 lovelies looking in tonight. And thank you for saying hi. This summer, it was July, wasn't it?
Yes, it was in July, yes.
End of July, we met at something called the Fruity Fest, which is a raw fruitarian festival, which was...
Fruit Fest, yeah. Fruit Fest UK, yes.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. We had really time of our... We met so many fantastic people, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was my second year, it was your first year.
My first year, yes. And Anna helped in the kitchen, so... Yeah. She taught me a couple of raw vegan. I'm trying to there we go, because there it is. It's really hard.
That's okay. It's okay. We're very close. We're all right.
So she taught me some raw vegan recipes, which I've been using all summer. And she has everybody that I met at the festival. In fact, a huge proportion of the people that I met had become plant-based or raw vegan or vegan due to health issues, which is why when she said she was coming over, I asked her if she would tell her story about how she turned to vegan food and then on to raw vegan, to tell your health journey.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, that's no problem. Yes, 4 years ago, just over 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was stage 1, so I had a brief encounter with it. So I only had surgery. But it was enough for me to think about how my life was going and what I was doing. And what I thought is, what can I control from the whole process? And the diet and my mindset was the two things I focused on. Then I had looked at what other people were doing, and I came across a book that said that when you have active cancer, you should have at least 6 or 8 months of vegan diet. And at that point, I was overweight. I was 82 kilos, and so that's 20 kilos overweight, which is 100. Yeah,
I'm going to work out the kilo rate for you because they're having trouble with stones.
Yes, yeah, so no, I meant to do it, but I forgot to do it. And
it's all right.
So, and I had not exercised for a good 2 years or so, and one thing I also did is talk to my sister-in-law. She was going to do an Ironman, and 2 years later, and I said, I'll do that with you. And I had not swum or bike or run for that length or for very much at all. So, but that helped me to decide, I'm just going to do a journey to first change my diet and change my activity level. And that's linked because as I learn more about the vegan diet and how much it really affects your health, also learn that it helps with your endurance and your training. So that helped me decide, what's the point in just doing that for 6 months if that's going to benefit me so much? And it really has helped me. I lost 20 kilos in 6 months. And
wow.
And after that, sort of kept more or less the same weight.
That was 180 pounds you were.
Okay.
And 20 kilos is 44 pounds.
Yeah. So, which is okay.
Yeah.
So,
brilliant.
And that really has been my journey. And then to figuring out what to eat has been difficult because I've never been very good at cooking. So, but I've just found also that it's easier to be vegan for that. But then I learned about raw food diet because it really helps your metabolism and change much more and detox much more. And it makes life much easier because you don't have to cook really at all with that. So that's also is something that it benefits me that side. But in a sense, has really changed how I see diet. For me, diet is about nourishing and healing from within, and raw food diet does it best. But starting with a vegan diet, it really makes a big difference anyhow. So, yeah.
Let me ask you this. So you had this illness, and so you wanted to get well, and so you changed over to a whole food plant-based or a vegan diet. And then
what I decided is that because I was fine, I was not ill with it.
Right.
I was fine, and within 2 months I was clear of it.
Okay.
but for me, it was about what had taken me to get that.
Right. So
and that made me change. Okay, what I've been doing diet wise and
okay.
and lifestyle was just not contributing to it. And what I learned is that going vegan will help me stay clear of it.
Right. And so that's one of the things that we learned about veganism in general is that it does reduce our risk for cancer, right? So tell us about an average day for you, how you might get through your average day and what you would eat, and take us from breakfast to supper and how you do it.
Okay. Generally what I like to do is a juice or a smoothie first thing in the morning. So I could do either 4 or 5 bananas, some celery, basically a couple of stalks of celery, or some spinach, and then I put some wheat grass powder in it, some chia seed powders, blend, and
you're saying smoothie, not juicing, right? You're saying make a smoothie. You're putting 5 bananas in to start, and then you're adding on to that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
It's mainly it's carbohydrate, and so I just put 4 or 5, and that keeps me going all morning. At the beginning, I used to do a lot of juicing, a bit more juicing before, and I put 9 things in it. So it's normally put some broccoli, some apples, pineapple, cucumber,
carrot,
ginger. No, I didn't put ginger for that one. But what else? I can't remember that. Ginger. But I just had an avocado. That's normally one of the ones I will do most. Okay. And then I'll just have mangoes, 2 or 3 mangoes for lunch, and I'll have a salad with a nice dressing on it, which is generally tahini and orange and a bit greens in it to mix in. So that's an average day. So I try to aim for 6 pounds of fruit and 2 pounds of greens, or 1 to 2 pounds of greens, and just an ounce or so of fat a day. That's the aim. Generally, that's
interesting. So you're mostly fruits.
Yeah, 80-10-10 is normally fruits. Yes,
mostly fruits, and so you don't do.
They give you the most calories, you see.
Sure, right, and you don't chop and I mean you're using your smoothie, you're making the smoothie for breakfast, but then you're just cutting up some mangoes for lunch, and then just again you're or we just 2 bunch of grapes, or a couple of or a kilo of some sumas, something like just whatever you grab or you feel like that day. It's just you can just have anything that as long as you get around about 6 pounds of fruit a day, that's generally what you need. Okay, are you talking about with the peelings or without the peelings? I mean, I'm trying to get my head around 6 pounds of fruit here.
It's not that complicated.
I'm not saying it's complicated, but it's just hard for me to understand. Are you talking about 6 pounds of what you're about to eat, or 6 pounds?
No, what I do is generally just with everything. I weigh everything before I chop it off. Yeah.
Okay, so that's in the super raw state before you remove like half the weight of taking the core of the apple out, for example. Or removing, because like when you do a mango, I mean, there's a lot of mango that's basically ends up in the trash, right? I mean, a lot of the mango you don't eat.
No, true.
Yeah, I mean, so
it's pre-chopped weight. You'll weigh the mangoes, and then you'll prepare them.
That's how I do it.
And 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds, just so that everybody knows what a kilo is.
That's true. But I'm still building up my stomach, because it's about volume, and you're not used to. If you're not used to eating so much volume, it takes a bit of time to get your stomach a bit larger.
Sure. Yeah. And so, in previous discussions, we've had people ask about problems with gas. Do you get a lot of gas still, or was that only initially for you, and things have gotten better?
It really depends on how I combine the food, and if I get too many nuts, sometimes I go a bit crazy with nuts because I love them. But generally, sometimes. But really, if I eat wrong, that's when I do get most gas. If I just sometimes I do I fall for bread. That's my downfall sometimes. But generally,
Jack loves bread.
Yeah.
Man, I love bread. I tell you, I can eat me some bread over here.
Yeah, I used to be able to eat a whole loaf in 5 minutes if I let myself do it. So, but I try to stay away because I know it does affect I don't digest it well. So, but yeah. I love it. So. But,
does it not make you tired? Don't you feel a bit kind of?
Yeah, just blocks it.
Bread.
I know it's not good for me. So I try to stay away. And when I'm doing raw well, I don't need. I can go by the bread section in the supermarket, and I'm
not
fine.
cry any tears.
No, I don't. I'm fine. Yes. So it really depends on how I'm doing it. I have my bad days too. I haven't really mastered it yet. But
what's a bad day for you? What's a bad day?
Well, when I don't eat enough or eat the wrong things, that's what I mean. Normally, if I eat what is what I just said, I feel great. Right. If I'm too tired or work too hard and don't have time for break for lunch, then it becomes a bit of a stressier day, and I can't fit everything in, and I just probably sometimes grab things. But since the festival, I've been raw up to beginning of this year, more or less.
Yeah. Because there was Rawgust, which was a challenge to go raw for August, a bit like when I became a vegan. I did Veganuary, and that's what basically got me into it, because I thought I'd give it a go, and I felt so amazing on it that I kept with it.
Yeah.
And until I got my cyst, I was raw for probably about 3 weeks.
Is it okay? You came on the 25th of July? Is it
the first day.
Or when you came on Wednesday or Saturday or Tuesday?
The Wednesday.
So it was 25th to the 30th. If you stayed,
but I didn't. I started eating cooked again because I was in a lot of trouble with the cyst.
And then it was that week that you had the cyst, which was Thursday.
Yes, it came up actually at the end of the festival, the second day of the festival.
So you started eating the sort of 8 days after you started being raw.
Yeah, so I lasted probably a little bit into...
Yeah, 8 days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, at the fruit festival, and then after that I carried on being raw. But I stayed raw for as long as I could.
But it's fine to be raw 80% of what you're eating and then 10%, because sometimes it's difficult. It's how you feel it fits with your lifestyle and how your process is.
Yeah.
Okay. But Harriet, for example, says, well, why do you want to do it slowly? You can want to do it quickly and then change. But I understand that people's habits are difficult to change unless you have a very strong reason for it. And even so, I could still have some days that life gets a bit more in the way, and it's okay if you want to eat something different or something that you're used to eating, because you understand what you're doing, and as long as you don't feel guilty for it, and then you move on to what tomorrow, we'll just move on from that, and I can just carry on changing my diet. It's I find it's just difficult as well for me, so it's not. We all do it.
We always have some slip-ups.
Yeah.
So,
sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah. I'm going to say that it's not difficult from a purist kind of, for me saying, all you have to do is just eat fruits and vegetables. I mean, that sounds easy. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes down to making selections meal after meal after meal, it does kind of get a bit challenging, because you have to be sure that you're stocked up with with healthy fruits and vegetables fairly regularly. Yeah. And so, what I'm looking for is what's an easy way for me to make sure that when I come home, I've got the right things in the refrigerator, in the crisper, for me to chop up and eat, and to stay away from those breads, because for me, I've got some really healthy bread choices, and I want to keep a little bit of bread in my diet, of course. But I don't want to, I don't want to overdo it. And so for me, I like to eat a lot of tomatoes. I like peppers, bell peppers, and all kinds of, pulses. We Brits say pulses. Okay, beans and those kind of things. That's easy for me. But I like onions, and I'll stir, and sometimes I'll do a little stir fry. I have a wok, and I do it right on my stove, and I'll just do a stir fry and throw in, all kinds of things, from mushrooms to to you name it, but it's just basically whatever I have. So, but if there was a way that I could just go raw and still feel like I got a good enough variety, I would probably do that.
Well, there's also the argument that some people just monomeal for a week or for a month or something, so you just eat one fruit all day long. But generally what you do is get in, well, most of them just get boxes of a particular fruit, and then you rotate, or several fruits, and then you rotate them, so they will just mature at different times, so you have them through the week. Mm-hmm. So it's more about what's available, what you got in the farmers markets or things like that, which are in season, and then you can just look at what you like of that and how you can store that in your house. Because my fridge is very small, so I really can't have many things in the fridge.
Do you do much frozen or canned items? I
used to eat lots of chickpeas. I love chickpeas and lentils. I haven't done that for a long time. Mm-hmm. Frozen, I'd say I don't have much space, and I don't tend to use frozen, but it's a very, very good way to stock it up and doesn't go off and still have that available. So it's a good way of doing it. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So if it works for you, that's what you like, it's fine. Especially you have the berries are very good and will keep definitely much better if they're frozen, and it will give you that antioxidant potency that you need, definitely, because you can go into that.
Do you take any supplements?
I take vitamin B12, and if I feel very, very weak because of I haven't slept well. I used to work nights, and sometimes I couldn't have a good day of routine of eating and sleeping.
Right.
And I just felt very tired, and then I just got a multivitamin and multi-mineral, because mineral deficiency is very important as well as vitamin deficiency for health. Mm-hmm. So I tried to increase that with a supplement for a period of time, for 2 weeks or a month or something like that. But generally I do just vitamin B12.
How often do you have, say, labs drawn by a primary care physician just to take a look at things like your potassium level, calcium level, iron, just to make sure that nutritionally that you're doing well? I mean, you don't have a reason not to believe that, except for possibly the B12, but you're supplementing that. So how often do you get a checkup like that?
I generally do it every 6 months. I do have a blood test, because especially they look after me well, because I had my history, so they tend to make sure that I'm okay. So, but yeah, normally my vitamin D is good, is around 80, 85, something like that. Iron is a bit lower, but
excuse me, did you say vitamin B12 like vitamin B, or did you say vitamin D like Delta?
My vitamin D is normal.
Okay, what would be normal?
Delta, yes. The B12 I supplement.
What number? What do you know? What your vitamin D number was?
85.
Yeah, now that's a really good vitamin D level.
Yeah, it was 62 the last time.
Yeah, I want to stress to people that too, because it's really important, because vegans have no trouble getting their vitamin D level up where it's supposed to be, especially if you're getting plenty of mushrooms. But I've had lots and lots of people that live on animal-based diets, including me back when I was, and I was taking vitamin D supplements from 3 different areas, and I still had a hard time getting a vitamin D level over about 25. But since I've become vegan, it went to 50, and then I went to 82 in just a period of a few months. So getting that vitamin D level up is something that you don't have to worry about if you're vegan. And I'll tell you, you will feel better. You'll notice that higher vitamin D level. Go ahead. I wanted to clarify that, because I think that's really interesting about veganism.
Yeah, what I find is that if you don't use some blockers and you go out in the sun, being vegan helps you absorb vitamin D better.
That's true. Yeah, you get more of it.
Yeah.
Good. Well,
so I think people underestimate how much sun blocking affects that, but also the fact that animal produce also interfere how that you function. Yeah.
So let's say I was a brand new person who just met you, and I was considering going vegan.
Yeah.
What would be some advice you would give me?
Well, the main thing is why do you want to go vegan, and just have a very strong why you want to do that.
Let me just say I want to be healthier.
Okay.
I have high blood pressure. I have high cholesterol. I'm pre-diabetic. My kidney function's not as good as it should be. I have stroke in the family, and I want to avoid that. And I've read that by going vegan, I'm going to be healthier. And so I'm very motivated. What advice would you give me?
Okay, well, there's a few organizations in the UK. Is the Vegan Society, for example, has a good website to guide you through that process, to help you how to change your mindset as well. It's important to say, well, the diet is going to have a different sort of setup as the ones you have. That the protein has to be this and so on, because people underestimate the fact that vitamins and minerals come from fruit and veggies, but also protein and carbohydrates and fats. You have all that from veggies and fruit. So they still have that sort of feeling that you have to have a protein to go with your food, and you don't have to do that. So as long as you have a variety of ingredients, it's enough to have that. If you're worried, you can always add some pulses and things like that. But for me, it's just to keep it simple, see what you like. But there are lots of organizations you can find online that you can just help you through that. And I know in the UK, the Vegan Society has a very good way the manual to do that. But I did it.
So there actually is a government manual on how to be a vegan in the UK?
It is a...
It's a society.
It's a website they have. It's a independent, not the government-based, no.
Right.
Yeah. So you can go there for advice, and
PETA also has good advice on that.
That sounds interesting. So you would basically refer me to the website just to make sure that I understood that I could eat a variety of fruits and vegetables, and I shouldn't have to worry about getting enough protein in my diet, and that as long as I ate varied fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, seeds, that I could count on that to keep me healthy, and I don't need to believe that I have to eat some kind of animal somewhere or to be healthy. And that's what you would tell me.
That's the thing. People are obsessed with how much protein you're eating because you have this piece of meat you have to is that what protein you're cooking. When you cook your meal around that protein you're having as a animal.
So you have a lot of people that ask you the question, how do you get your protein? And you'd be afraid that I would have trouble answering that question, which you don't know, because obviously if somebody's new, they're going to get these questions. Oh, you can't do that. That's not healthy. And so you'd be pointing them to a good place. And I would agree. I think that's a great thing to do for somebody. That's kind of what we're doing is we're doing these little talks on Mondays and Thursdays to assure people that you can eat healthy. You don't have to eat animal products, and we're all working toward, or most of us are working toward that, and being healthier. And so we do intermittent fasting and we do the whole food plant-based diet just to be healthier, but we're also sharing the experience with as many people as possible, because we want as many people who want to be healthy and be off of medicines to know that it's absolutely possible, and not is it just possible, it's expected.
You do that, and I presume you do the fasting so you can allow your body to rest and heal on its own. So, but the thing is that people think that you have to eat lots of protein, and actually the excess of protein is one of the reasons why people have lots of chronic disease. Mm-hmm. And you only need 10% of protein to function.
Oh, sure.
It's a good source of protein, and I say. The main thing as well is that people are obsessed with protein, and actually what you need is the amino acids that the protein are built on. And the fact that you use animal plant-based produce, like especially fruits and veggies, it's just you'll have those readily made, so you have to work less to absorb them. So it's very quick absorption, and then you use less energy, and therefore you preserve your energy, you have more energy after eating as well. So that's
well. I think you're probably aware of the fact that a lot of animal proteins are directly tied to cancers and heart disease and diabetes. Yeah. You mentioned, it's interesting, you mentioned amino acids, which are further processed proteins. And I suppose that it'd be very interesting to find out if there's any link between collections of amino acids that are just, and I've taken amino acids before years ago when I was lifting weights, and because it was a good way for your body to build muscle. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of research. Have you read the China study?
No, I have not. The only thing I've seen about that is Forks Over Knives, which is the documentary based on the.
We've talked about Forks Over Knives actually.
Right.
But yeah, that's Forks Over Knives is one in Netflix as well, which is What the Health.
Yeah, that's a good one too. And there's lots of documentaries, but one of the almost all of them will cite somewhere in their documentaries an important study called the China study, which is the largest epidemiological study in history. And it proved beyond any doubt whatsoever that the higher the percentage of animal products that a person eats, and really we're talking about proteins here, right? The sicker they will be. So I try to make sure that people understand that it's not just the additives and the processing of the animal protein that's bad, that it's actually the protein itself.
It causes a lot of inflammation. It builds up in your body. You don't know how to shift it, and it needs to put it somewhere and causes inflammation. Yes.
Right. And I've had people tell me that I was putting myself at risk by eating so many vegetables because of the pesticides and insecticides, and I tell them they're absolutely correct. I do increase my risk of cancers by being exposed. I increase my risk of cancer by 0.0001%, whereas by eating animal products, I increase my risk of cancer by 40 to 50%. I mean, it's just amazing. Hey, I'm sorry, I had a secondary message that came through.
That's okay.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. But anyway, so your approach on this after 4 years is very different than what I expected. I would have expected you would have, kind of more set routines, but you probably do.
Because my routine, I don't have a routine for anything yet. So my life is not a routine. That's why I'm trying to establish a routine, but I'm still working.
You're too artsy craftsy for me. I'm more scientific. I need a routine. See, that's what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for a pattern. I think for my life, I'm looking for maybe a loose recipe that I could follow. So,
but that's the loosest recipe I can do, because I used to do, when I started, I did more juicing, and I did every single morning I'll have a juice.
Yeah.
And that really set me off for the day. And then sometimes, because I started exercising more, I used to go to the gym, and then I'll have another juice after that, and I'll have more salads, and I have some pasta with it as well, or some also stir fries. So I used to do that too. Mm-hmm. So that was at that point.
How you started?
Yeah, that's how I started. My first 18 months were more consistent in that sense. Now, since I've been working on being raw, I'm still finding what works for me. Okay, so I'm still new to that process, and what really makes the difference, I have either normally just about 32 ounces, 24 to 32 ounces of orange juice, and sometimes do orange juice and mango, and that's one breakfast, for example. For me, one person I follow when I'm looking at recipes is Fully Raw Christina is the one person for.
She's raw, she's on Instagram at Fully Raw Christina, spelled with a K. Mm-hmm. And she's she's very good. She was at the festival with us. We got to hang out with her for 5 days. Absolutely incredible woman.
She's very.
I'll put the link in there, and I have also put the link for the Vegan Society. Sal from Glasgow asked for that. I put that in the comments if anyone wants to have a look for that. Okay, it's the Vegan Society basically, and there's loads of tips on how to convert or how to go vegan on there.
They also have some advice on supplements. They're happy that are safe and good for you. So that's also good. They have the resources as well to look into where to get this, and so it's a good place to start. PETA, also the PETA, also they do have lots of resources. Is more animal activist as well, but it will have some information there for you to follow as well. Yeah.
So I think we're quite lucky here because veganism is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger in the UK. So it's not as hard to find kind of alternative or vegan options. I went to the Toby Carvery at the weekend.
Yeah.
And they had vegan food and I was flabbergasted, to be honest. I was just going to have a pile of vegetables, but they actually had food that we could eat, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I've been in London to a conference, and I just around the corner had a vegan cafe, so it's very good.
Well. Yeah, sort of whole vegan cafes. Yeah. So we are very lucky here.
Yeah,
I have to say.
Yeah. But having said that, in the States, also there are a few places that are also starting to have more vegan things. In San Francisco, it was easy to get some vegan restaurants and food that was, and also going to shops and having vegan produce available to you. So you still have it. I'm sure there are areas that are easier to access that than others, for sure. But I believe people are asking more for that type of food, and the suppliers are starting to listen and trying to provide us every.
And that's what we want to be part of too. Is we want to be part of the movement where more and more people are going into restaurants and looking for vegan alternatives, and I go out of my way to make sure that I get myself something when we do go out that is vegan. I mean, there are some. There's a salad restaurant that called Salata, not far from me here, and it's very easy to go in there and not eat any animal products because you build your own salad as you're going. You don't have to put any on there, and they've got lots of tofu, and they've got lots of nuts and seeds and lots of lots of substance. I like to think of substance, all the things that are not lettuce in a salad. It's like that's the goodies right there. That's what I'm going for. But I like to think that by encouraging more people to choose more fruits and vegetables, just making them healthier. I mean, it's simple as that, but encouraging them to, when they go into a restaurant, to look for vegan options, and if there isn't one, try to create something. Say, look, what do you have? What do you have back there that we could make a vegan plate out of? And I've gotten all kinds of interesting things that start with baked potatoes, for example, and go to other places where you end up with string beans and carrots and lots of things. It's amazing.
If you know you're going as well ahead of time, you can tell them, and they will be happy to say they will be interested, because sometimes they're just bored of having the same routine of.
The chefs love it, actually, because it gives them a challenge from the regular menu.
Creative. So they like being creative. Yes,
Yeah, we're going for a curry for our Christmas meal on the 7th of December, and I phoned the restaurant we were going to go to. No, we don't have anything. Nothing vegan here. Nothing vegan. Sorry, bye-bye.
Yeah.
So we chose a different restaurant. My father spoke to them, and the chef's going to cook me a special vegan meal, because they cook everything in ghee, which is unclarified butter. So everything is cooked in dairy. And they're actually going to cook me a special meal, and the chef's really happy to do it. So that's really good advice, actually, Anna, to call ahead and just say, what have you got that's vegan on the menu? Is there something? And they'll go, oh, hang on a minute. And they'll go, right, you could have this, but we could take the cheese out of that, and we could do that in olive oil rather than in bacon fat. And we've got some bread, and oh no, you can't have the butter. Hang on a minute, right, let me have a word with the chef. And they're usually really pleased to accommodate you if you let them know.
Right, I think you're right.
You get spoiled. Actually, you get spoiled. When you say you're vegan, they just try to really make sure that you're happy and they treated you well. That's what I found generally when I've told them. And
maybe I shouldn't throw a fit and break things when I ask. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. I might not be asking politely enough. I don't always get that same response. I get a little different response.
What's vegan?
We put a vegan item on the menu once and nobody ordered it. Get out of here, you know.
Yeah.
They don't want to mess with it, right?
No, that's true. But yeah,
I think in different places you have different attitudes. In Houston, Texas, I'm sure there's more of a meat eater's attitude than perhaps in parts of Scotland or other areas, or even in the northeast of the United States. I mean, I'm sure there are different people that eat different ways, and in the Pacific Northwest, for example, they probably don't. You probably see more people eating vegan there than here. Just because.
Christina is based in Austin.
Christina is the world famous raw vegan chef who actually chefed our festival.
And there was a raw food culinary school in Austin.
We need to bring her on. We need to get her to come online and chat with us one night.
She'd be happy to. Yeah.
Yes, she would be really happy to.
Yes. Well, you can also talk to Alithia. She's a raw food chef.
Yes.
She'd be happy to talk to.
Yes, she would be really happy to. In fact, when we were at the festival, I mean, because I came on my own, I didn't know anyone. By the time I left, I had 40 new friends on Facebook, and we are all in contact.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, most amazing, energetic bunch of people from like world famous ultra marathon runners.
Yeah.
You know, and she also makes violins. It's just like a real myriad of different people. And I think about 80% of the people that I spoke to.
You're still talking to?
Well, I'm still speaking to them, but I was talking to, I've been talking to loads of them, but most of the people I met, it's like, how long have you been raw? It's like, I've never done a fruitarian thing. This is my first time. I'm a new vegan. And they're like, oh, well done. Why are you a vegan? And the conversation was, I had breast cancer and I looked into it, and there's people that were suffering from anxiety or depression or chronic syndromes, who'd all decided, how can I fix myself? And they went onto the internet and they found it.
Healed her Hashimoto's as well.
And that's what I think is such a shame, that we have to experience being unhealthy first before we learn that, hey, there's a different way to eat, that you could have been healthier from the beginning. You could have prevented this. Sure. And I find that's the message I'm trying to get out, is like, you don't have to do this. You can eat and you can prevent these diseases, but it's so easy to eat unhealthy that we just pretty much just ignore it unless we have a reason to try to eat healthy. And so everybody, we've all got a reason here. I mean, all those things I said, let's pretend I actually did have all those problems.
Right.
I'm off of 5 medicines that I was on because I went to whole food plant-based diet and I intermittent fast. So I lost 50 pounds and I've gone through a lot of things. So I had a question here. If you don't mind, Suzanne Smith asked a question. She said, has it been proven that the high-protein weight loss diets are not healthy long-term? Well, let's break this down. First of all, it's been proven that weight loss diets are not healthy long-term because they don't work, okay? In fact, most people that do weight loss diets end up gaining more weight back than they initially were at before they started to lose. The second thing is high protein usually means high cholesterol and high fat. If you're talking about animal proteins, then we absolutely know that long-term that is not healthy. I suppose it could be possible to eat a high-protein plant-based diet for weight loss. You could do that as you just can't eat too much protein if you're eating. You can't eat plants and eat too much protein. You would have to eat so many bananas. You would eat more bananas than Sue and Anna banana combined here. And let me tell you something. That is a lot of bananas. These are banana eating ladies, both of them. I'm telling you, you can't do it. You can't eat a high protein where you eat too much protein, where you really push it enough to. You'd have to include animal protein or at least some kind of processed protein. So, has it been proven? I think the real question here is: has it been proven that these keto diets and that kind of thing are not healthy? You remember Dr. Atkins? Well, when he died of a heart attack and they cut him open in the autopsy, his heart was full of plaques. He was extremely unhealthy. But when you look at the hearts of vegans that pass away of old age or other problems from accidents, they've got clean coronaries. So we know that long term that these animal protein diets are not healthy. I've had patients come in, and I've got copies of the labs where before and after they would have healthy cholesterol. Then they'd come in with bad cholesterol over 300 and triglycerides in the 400 or 500 range, and then we bring them back in and say, we got to put you on medicine. What do you mean? I'm losing weight. I feel fantastic. You're killing yourself is what you're doing. You're running your numbers up so high that I'm compelled to treat you to prevent a heart attack. So, whether this is proven or not, you ask yourself. I think it's definitely been proven that weight loss diets are not healthy long term. And I say that any high protein animal based diet of any kind is unhealthy. And I don't think it's possible to do a high protein vegan diet and lose weight, because you would have to eat so much that you'd probably have to gain weight. I mean, it'd be amazing.
Well, you ate lots of pulses every day.
Yeah, I don't. You probably have to live on almonds and even
so that's a lot of that too. So
yeah.
So Kelly's asking, doesn't it bind you up eating all those bananas?
No, actually, I was feeling really rough this summer, and I did Banana Island. That's what it's called. It's eating 60 bananas, 30 bananas a day. And, I completely changed my energy, and it went back to feeling better again.
Well, actually, it's quite funny. When I said I was going to a fruitarian festival, Wink was like, what, like, they just eat fruit? And I went, I don't know, I think so. And he went, whatever you do, don't come back like that. And I went, don't worry, I'm just going to try it out and, see what it's like. And there's all this yoga and meditation and all lovely stuff. So I've always wanted to do something, I'll go along. Mm-hmm. And he said, I wouldn't want to be around you eating all that fruit. It's like there's likely to be an explosion.
Well, it doesn't smell, so you're right.
Well, but it wasn't though. I just thought, you think, that it would really upset your digestive system, but it didn't at all. I was really surprised, but it didn't at all.
Well, I've always been very regular, so that's one thing that, we're very regular people when you go vegan, actually, because just go to the toilet much better than many, especially if you eat animal produce. It's really also, it doesn't smell nearly as bad.
Yeah.
So
that's definitely true. My colon health is dramatically improved. I mean, I don't mind saying that. It just has. I'm a lot more regular. One of my weaknesses when I was eating animal products was eating lots of cheese anyway, and cheese causes constipation. So, I'm much healthier in that area. And there was some talk earlier about, when you make the transition that you have to deal with a lot of gas and that kind of thing. And I don't have that problem anymore. I did initially, but I don't now. And so I just wondered what your experience was that, and you answered that. Thank you. So
that's fine. Isn't it also what people don't realize is when you have gas, it's because you have the bad bacteria.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And you're converting over to that healthy.
Shifts, and then you just have a healthy gut bacteria.
Yeah.
And that's what you need, really. You just need to feed them the right food.
That's right.
You don't need probiotics, you just need the prebiotics for that, and that's all you need to feed the bacteria.
You better watch out, you're going to get backhanded. Sue's right there, and she's a probiotic fan. You better watch it. She's going to get you.
We'll debate that later. But
okay. If you do have a really bad gut bacteria, then yes, you need to maybe supplement that with some probiotics, so you can just help the balance back. But once you have an established diet, I don't think you need to supplement that.
Yeah.
That's my view.
I think that when you're making the transition from animal-based to a whole food plant-based diet, that it would probably make the transition easier on you if you did go with a probiotic. But I think once that bacteria is established, I don't think it's necessary on a regular basis. However, I will say it again, I'm neutral on the issue. I think that if you take a probiotic and it makes you feel better, then that's perfectly okay. So I'll leave it at that. I know Sue is very probiotic. I tend to be a bit more neutral on him, but I'm not anti-probiotic. So we'll leave it at that. I know that we have another guest that we want to get to, Sue. Do you want to take a...
Yeah.
Because we've gone almost 50 minutes now. Do you want to take a short break so we can bring on our next guest?
Right. Okay. We've got Leanne. I know that you're online. You said hello. Not Leanne.
Lynn.
Lynn. Sorry, I'm reading a word here, and I'm reading Leanne's message and saying Leanne's name. The lovely Leanne. So Lynn Jones. I know that you're on here. So what we're going to do now, folks, I've got 32 watching live at the moment. I don't know how many you've got there, Jack.
3.
But we got 3. Right.
13.
I win.
Okay.
Right, so
well, changing one person's life is enough, so that's good.
Changing one person's life, yeah, you know, that's a great thing, and we have already changed some lives. I know there's some fantastic results. People are really getting on with it. I know there's a young lady on here who is doing her first ever fast today.
That's awesome.
You know who you are. We spoke earlier. So proud of you.
Awesome.
And lots of people are really, really getting into this, and it's just fantastic. But what we're going to do now, we're going to break now. I definitely need a bathroom break right now, and the fire's going out, so I need some more wood. Okay, so we are going to break now. All of you guys, stay on the channel and you'll watch when we come back up live, because sometimes we lose some of you. So Lynn Jones, we're going to talk about your medical things, the information you gave to me today that I passed on to Dr. Gilmore. So we're going to discuss that. So Lynn, I can see your little hearts there. So we're just going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to be straight back on. And as soon as you're on, Lynn, let me know you're on, so that there's no good of starting to answer it if you're not hooked back on. So everyone go and have a bathroom break. We'll see you in 5. Okay. Bye.